In our previous video, we learned how we can use the lambda function. But we had a limitation to the lambda function that it is going to compute only the one expression. What if I want to use the list instead of a single value? So that's why we had two other functions, the map and the filter function, that we can use in order to compute on a higher level. A map function in a Python takes in a function and a list as the argument. A function is called with a lambda function and a list, and then you pass the list. After the computation, a new list is returned which contains all the lambda modified items that are returned by that function for each item. Let's just have a demonstration. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a list with numbers, let's say with 10 numbers, and then using the map function and the lambda function, I am going to update the list and I am going to double each element inside the list. So let's see how we can do that. Now, first we need to define our lambda function. So for lambda x, then we need to define the expression. Now, we want to double the value. So x times 2. Now, we are going to pass it inside the map function. I told you map function take two arguments. One of them is a function which we provided as a lambda function, and another argument is the list. So I pass in here list L. Now we just created our map function. Now in the end we want our output in the form of a list. So we need to convert it into a list. So all this computation is going to be converted into a list using the list function. And now I want to store all of it inside a variable. So let's suppose a variable a equals list, and then we have our map function. Inside the map function, we provide our lambda function, and then we pass in our list. Now, if I just execute it, and if I print a, you can see the values has been updated. So it's a faster way to make higher computation on the lists. Let's discuss the another function that I used along with the lambda function. It's called reduce function. Now a reduce function in Python takes in a function and a list as an argument. The function is called with a lambda function and a list, and a new result is returned. This performs a repetitive operation over the pairs of a list. But in order to use the reduce function, you need to import this reduce function from the function tool library. In this video, we are also going to cover how to import the libraries from the different modules. So first thing we need to do is to import our reduce function. In order to import that function, we need to write from functools import reduce. Now we have imported our function. Reduce is going to help us overcoming the limitation of a lambda function. Since we can only use a single variable in a lambda function, so reduce can allow us to use more than one value at a time. So we are going to do the same thing with the reduce function. We are going to calculate the sum of a list L, and we are going to use a reduce function. So in order to do that, we first need to write our lambda function. So lambda x, because we are going to compute the sum, so I am going to take a pair at a time. So for the very first time, it's going to take 2 and 4. Next time, it's going to take the output of 2 and 4 and 6. And the third time, it's going to take the output of 2, 4, 6 and 8. And it goes on until it finds the sum of the entire list. So x comma y colon, and we are going to compute as x plus y. And then we are going to use our reduce function, because going to use our reduce function lambda. And we wrote our code, and the first thing that we provided it is the lambda function. The another thing we need to provide it is the list L. So let me make the parenthesis correct, and then we are going to store it in a variable. Let's suppose a equals reduce lambda x comma y colon, and then the computation is going to be x plus y, and then we passed in our list L. So if I just did that, it says it's been provided only once. Oh, it's because it is going to be the first pair. Yes. And now if I just press shift enter, it has been compiled. And if I print A, now we had the sum of these numbers. Another function that we are going to work with is the filter function. Now this time, consider a scenario where you want to pick only the even numbers from the n natural numbers. So let's create our list L with 10 values. And now I want to filter out the even numbers from the list. So in order to filter something out from the list, we are going to use the filter function. Like the other functions, filter function is going to take two inputs. One is the lambda function and another is the list. So let's just create our lambda function, lambda x, and then we write in our expression. So we want to filter out the even numbers. So that means x modulus 2 double equals 0, right? And then we are going to define our list L, and we are going to pass it in a filter function. Now we just passed it into the filter function. And now I want to store it in a variable as a. After doing all of this, now I want my result to be in the form of a list, because I want to fetch the values from the previous list L, and then I want to store the result into another list. So I need to create another list. Now filter is going to filter the values and list is going to create list out of them. Now if I just compile it and if I print a, now you can see we separated our even numbers from the list.